Hey, how you doing? It's your man, Fat Man Buddha, and yes, I have returned. I know that makes a lot of y'all uncomfortable.
And I will never retire!
Because to be honest, a lot of y'all people don't really like the truth. But for those of you who do appreciate the fact that I'm back, I did miss y'all, man, for real. But I had to take a little break because here I was telling you all not to get emotionally involved in the war, and I was starting to get emotionally involved in y'all. And the reason why I had to stop doing that is because you can't stop people from damaging themselves, so to speak. So I had to just take some time, take a break, recenter myself, lose some weight. As you can see, the shirts, the big shirts not fitting how they used to. But nevertheless, man, I'm back again. I missed y'all, and I have a lot to cover. First and foremost, let me start off by saying, welcome to the round table of conspiracy, the high table of conspiracy, however you want to say it. And most importantly, once again, I'm very proud of y'all, man. I am very, 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 very proud of y'all because they have been doing everything, and I do mean they have been doing everything to get you involved in this war one way or the other.
We're not sure what exactly is going on inside the town of Beaverton, Tom, but we're reporting that there's looting, raping, and yes, even acts of cannibalism. My God, you've actually seen people looting, raping, and eating each other. No, we haven't actually seen it, Tom. We're just reporting it.
And I'm glad I'm here to see it, to see my people starting to turn things around. Now, listen, after George Floyd, a lot of things got changed with black folk. Y'all don't realize that after George Floyd. We are focusing on ourselves now. And everybody got a problem with that. People that try to disrespect us, even within our own black family, right? Globally. Some that try to come and disrespect us. We say, oh, no. None of that gonna be tolerated. We're not gonna be disrespected no more. We're not gonna come to nobody's defense. Now, of course, the black family is different, and that's a family issue, right? And we'll deal with those family issues. Like you got distant cousins you may not agree with, or brother you may not agree with. Doesn't mean no hatred. It just means we have a disagreement. We'll handle that. It's not no hatred there. It's not.
You know, they either want you to support Israel or they want you to support Palestine, and really y'all refuse to take a side. And what can I say, man? I'm very happy and I'm very proud of y'all because that has nothing to do with us. That has absolutely nothing to do with us at all. That is an Arab problem. That is a Nazi problem.
Ve yerleşimci şiddetinden derin endişe duyuyor. Bu vesileyle hayatını kaybeden Filistinli kardeşlerimize bir kez daha Allah'tan rahmet, Filistin devleti ve halkına başsağlığı diliyorum.
That right there, and besides the point, I already told you, all this happened 10 years ago in 2014. And I think that's the most important thing that I can stress, is that all this happened in 2014. And they made an emergency shift because something happened after 2014 that they weren't prepared for. And I really don't think that it was an external force like we all hoped that it would be. I really do think that we solved our own problem once this war was over. Once this war was finalized and over with after 2014, we just, I don't know what happened. I I really don't know what happened, but after 2014, when this war was over with, they lost. They lost the war. We did something to scare them, and they had nothing to prepare for it. They had nothing to even recognize what it was, and so they made that shift.
Holy fuck! That was diabolical!
I I told a lot of people. I've been trying to tell people the same thing that somebody told me, and I'm trying to find that video of it. That CERN actually has its machine here in Utah.
Oh yeah, that's just insane. Nope. See the building's been sucked up.
So it's just a strange, like, what do we do to scare them so much? And I know a lot of people gonna say, "Oh, it's because our powers finally kicked in. Oh, it's because our telepathy started to finally activate."
Make it go really high.
We had 100% manifestation power, and somebody manifested them.
I am inevitable.
Gone. Hey, that sounds like me. But bottom line is, after 2014, they made that emergency shift. And when they made that emergency shift, they almost completely destroyed their HARP and their DARPA system.
So while you've been worried for the last week about some alert on your phone, well, this has been taking place. This is a heat map. And yes, these are lines that are shooting across. And yes, this only happened in America. This started on September 30th and lasted for 2 days until it disappeared. And yes, this is all the fires that are breaking out right now. So like I said, happened nowhere else in the world, only America and that line of Mexico. So now what is it I just stumbled across? Because this happened out in Hawaii at the end of January. Yeah, watch that again. What's going on, people? And if you need the story of where this is coming from, yeah, this happened from sciencealert.com, as well as other news links. Oh, and by the way, one of my friends captured this little thing that was taking place and said, hey, you think that one plane you found was interesting?
And they jumped back 10 years. But it was kind of strange. For some reason, I feel like when they jumped, it became an isolated field around America, from Canada all the way down to South America. I feel like a protective magnetic field was placed around us, and yeah, they if they weren't trapped here with us before, they are more trapped than ever. Like I keep telling you all, their machine is breaking down. Their weather machine. They keep on posting all these fake weather reports about how cold it is, and it's still, it feels like a 70-degree day. And if you ever been to Florida, you know what a 70-degree day feels like. I told you the entire South is gonna feel like Florida from now on. Their entire machine is malfunctioning, is doing something on its own, or it's almost scrap metal. It's snowing in California.
God damn it. I asked for it. I've been asking for it. I got it. It's snowing in my neighborhood. It's snowing in Cali. Southern California got some snow. And plenty of it. It's beautiful here. It's coming down. I'm an untrained meteorologist reporting on the snow. I mean, it's in the streets. God damn.
Yeah, it's snowing in California. It's snowing in Mexico. It's about to start snowing in Haiti. And the South is still gonna be the South, untouchable and unfazed. I know I said I wasn't gonna say this again, but
Please, 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 please.
please, if you live in the North, if you live in the West Coast, come to the South. If you are melanated, it is imperative that you come to the South, because now we're about to get things started with the whole UN program.
What the fuck is going on, man? Holy fuck. That's on the west side. Bro, that shit is not normal.
Can you see?
Yeah, you can see a light.
What is it?
This sounds like bombs.
That's what I said.
What the fuck is that?
That's not fireworks.
That's exactly what I said.
What the fuck?
What is it?
Bro, I don't know. That shit sound like bombs, bro. You can see a light. What the fuck?
That doesn't sound like fireworks, right?
No, that's not fireworks.
Yeah, hey.
Some shit's probably blowing up. That's like bombs or fucking something crazy.
And once again, you know, all you Northerners up there are sitting here complaining, talking about, talking about how the immigrants are taking your programs and taking your money and taking your food.
Marchers are also calling for help for the thousands of migrants bused to Chicago and stranded by the governor of Texas. Dane Placco has more now from Federal Plaza.
Well, you have to feel strongly about something to come out and march on a day like this, but that's certainly true of those celebrating May Day here in Chicago by demanding immigration reform.
Despite a cold, blustery rain, about 40 people gathered at Union Park on Chicago's west side, then marched into the Loop in Federal Plaza. demanding a path to citizenship for the estimated 12 million undocumented people who've been living and working in the United States for years. They say May Day, an international workers' rights holiday, is the right time to ask for immigration reform because they make up such a large part of the American economy.
We demand Biden, the administration, Biden, he listen to the people. He listen, he make a reform, immigration reform for the people that stay here for a long time.
And then on top of that, all of the Palestinians that are protesting is attacking the people, us, because we don't want anything to do with it.
You guys to stand the fuck up. It's a boycott on Arabs. It's a boycott on them. It's time. It's motherfucking time. They came in here, they bust me in my head and everything. I ask you, this is the blacks that are fighting against them. We're fighting against them.
Please leave the building. Please leave from in front of the building.
You're asking them to leave. They can't even tell them. They need the men. The Arabs are coming.
What does it benefit us? I tell people that all the time. You have to treat Palestine like it's Israel. If you were a real ruler of America, there's no way in the world that you would deal with Nazi Israel. And the reason why you wouldn't deal with Nazi Israel is simply because they don't provide anything. They can't provide their own food. They can't supply their own medicine. They can't provide their own military force. All the military that you have been seeing has come from outside of Israel. That's why the United States of Baal has sent military ships over there to Nazi Israel. And what can I say? If I was a ruler, I wouldn't care. You know, if the Arabs want to destroy Israel, let the Arabs destroy Israel. It won't hurt anything. I'm not going to sit here and send people to fight and die for a Nazi. As you've been hearing, a lot of crackers, a lot of racist crackers, have been uprooting themselves and going over there to Nazi Israel to fight the insurgents. They're just going over there so they can enjoy being racist. Let them die.
I will burn their city to the ground. I will find every rat hole that they hide in. And I will drop down enough explosives to scare God Almighty.
You ain't no hero. You just another racist piece of shit we can't seem to get rid of. This is for my family.
I hope they take their entire family and move over there so when the missiles hit, they can die. Y'all can feel about that how you want. I told you. I do believe in peace, love, and harmony, but I'm not going to sit here and pray that for my enemies. I want my enemies to die. I keep telling y'all that's how we ended up in this situation, because you people keep praying for your enemies. And to all you Christians who sit here and say that I'm being ungodly because I refuse to pray for my enemies, I would like to refer to the Old Testament when God said, even my patience runs short.
Shalom. I have loved you, saith the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother? saith the Lord. Yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragon of the wilderness. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever. Shalom.
Let's not forget what he told the children of Esau, that he hates them with a perfect hate. Okay, so judge not, lest ye be judged, and you Christians are already being judged left and right, and y'all can't even escape that. Moving on, I talked to a friend recently. Really, she's my god sister, my spiritual advisor, and you know, she asked me, "What are you gonna do when all this is over? Like, all this is over. All your enemies are either dead or insane. All your allies are either dead and have moved on with their lives. What are you going to do when the war is over? When we have finally won and our enemies are gone, what are you going to do when the war is over?" And I really, while I was taking my time off, I really had to think about that before I gave her an answer. Like, wow. I never really thought about that part because I'm always the type of person that thinks about worst case scenarios. And worst case scenarios, I go out dying fighting. Like, that's just it. But best case scenario, I go out there, I fight, I live, and the war is over with. What will I do? Like, seriously, what will I do? And I thought about it, and I either want to be an archaeologist or a teacher, because I do love teaching, especially when it's a young, open mind. I do love teaching, especially when it's an old, open mind, because elders have been coming around more and more to the fact that, you know, that everything that was taught was a lie. You know, when it comes to the old, you can't push the old because they'll have mental breakdowns and they still have that mental defense that was hypnotized into their minds. For all of you, I'm sorry, I'm over here. It's been a while, so everything's kind of discombobulated. So, to all of you who have finally started to catch up with where I am at the table of conspiracy, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So now we can get to something that I've been wanting to talk about. And that's really unusual. I'm finna say that right now. This is really unusual for me because usually I just put out information and I really don't care if you believe it or not. I really don't care if you are up to date or not. Because like I said, you're finna come to me like, man, you know, everything you told me, man, you were right. Nah, for real, bitch. So what I'm trying to get to is the fact that space, the universe, the you inverse, inverted, you inverted. You understand? You are inverted on this planet. See how you got to separate words for you to get a clear understanding. You are upside down on a plant. Almost as if you are the root soil. But let's take it a step further than that. Let's take it to the fact that this whole thing, which I keep telling you is a whole lot bigger than what it is. This whole thing is Saturn. This is the planet Saturn. Okay? When they call it Earth, they're not calling it Earth for the planet, they're calling it Earth for the soil. Ehart, I think is what the Celtics used to call it. Ehart or Earhart, but Earth. So, we are on Saturn. This whole continent, the whole left and right hemisphere is Saturn. The ocean is space.
Let's get it. Starting a new series today, The Ocean is Space. Part 1.
Why did NASA halt its ocean exploration program? Despite the fact that it's believed that less than 5% of the ocean has been explored, there could still be many undiscovered creatures and things such as the kraken and the megalodon. In 1958, NASA began mapping and charting the ocean floor. However, the program abruptly ended on June 28, 1978, and NASA shifted its focus to space exploration.
The deeper you go, what starts to happen? The deeper you go, you start getting different type of fish.
Aliens don't live in space, they live in our oceans. The monstrosity that you just witnessed is the Magna Pina or big fin squid.
If you want to call them that today, then you don't see when you're at certain other levels of the sea or you at surface. Like, for example, the angular fish. Right here, this is an angular fish. These are angler fish. You Google the term angular, but the angular fish is the same as the tuna fish. But what happens is, when you're at the surface, the tuna fish is a tuna fish. But as the ocean drops in frequency, the deeper you go, that tuna starts to look different to survive. So it completely morphs, and it be going.
You feel me? Time is not a true concept because everything is a constant. It is what it is. The ocean is space.
You get to Mars by going through the ocean. You can't get to the bottom of the ocean because outer space is the ocean.
To go into deep space, you have to go deeper into the ocean. But to get to another planet, you have to go through the rings of Saturn.
Now, I'm not saying it's real whatsoever, right? But could there be a possibility that that's the way it looks on the other side of that ice wall in Antarctica? Now, to me, if there's not anything on the other side of that ice wall, why do they guard it so much? Why is it not allowed to just explore and go out there and just see for ourselves what's over there? Why is it guarded so much? Now, like I said before, I'm not saying this is real, but look at all the intricate details. Look at this city. Now, I know there's a lot of maps that do talk about cities underneath the ice caps and even on the other side of these ice caps. And there's even maps out there, which I am going to show one. So could these maps show beyond the ice wall? And also, are there passages where you could get beyond the ice barrier as well?
That's why when you see all the maps, you see the ice wall going around. That is your first ring. You are Saturn. You are Saturn. Therefore, the rings of Saturn hold planets. It's a plant in a net. A planet. You understand? And they show you all the time in the diagram, and I know that it's strange because it took me a while to figure this out too. The way that the planets are rotating and shifting in that diagram, I keep on telling people you can't have it both ways. You can't sit here and deny space, but then you want to talk about how there's a hole in the sun.
In one of those news stories that's probably best not to think about too deeply, a giant hole was discovered in the middle of the sun. Specifically, this hole is about 5 times larger than the size of Jupiter, and it was found to have opened up in the sun's atmosphere sometime last week. The result for us here on Earth was that powerful solar winds were shot off in our direction.
But NASA already admitted that all of their images are computer generated.
In the meantime, they are images that inspire, educate, and sometimes just make us say, wow.
Yeah.
Over the years, NASA has given us spectacular photos and renderings that reveal a colorful and mysterious universe.
No doubt. And now Chris Martinez is introducing us to 2 of the artists behind some of the most iconic space art in the galaxy.
In a small, bright office, working side by side.
Let's see.
Robert Hurt and Tim Pyle bring the universe to life.
What we're doing does have real science underlying it.
Robert is an astrophysicist turned artist. Tim, once a Hollywood animator, is now a planet illustrator. Together, they produce some of NASA's most popular images, from renderings of how planets light years away could look, to actual photos of stars and galaxies captured by NASA's powerful telescopes.
And this is sort of how it comes to me. And then
Many of those images have a dark, grainy start, but color and light reveal an astonishing glimpse of the deepest regions of space might appear to the human eye.
What I'm trying to do is show people sort of the broader colors that the universe has to offer.
It's a delicate blend of imagination and data.
So, you have to think in a concept of what are they talking about? If the ocean is space, then what are the stars? The stars are various cities throughout the planet, throughout the solar system, so to speak. You understand? Those stars, because the dome.
There's a situation called the firmament. So we know that water is all around us. And it is said that this dome divided the sea into upper and lower sections.
Because we are in a dome. This firmament is a sapphire shield, and it reflects everything back down. So what happens when you turn off the lights and you shine a flashlight into a mirror? It reflects the light back. Now take that concept and apply it to a city that is constantly flowing on energy. Constantly flowing on energy. Strong enough energy to become a luminary. And you understand, if the ceiling is a mirror and it reflects everything back down, and when the sun goes down, the stars start to appear. I'm not saying, and to all you spiritualists who want to sit here and argue that no, they're portals, all you have to do is meditate, you can go through it. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that for every spiritual aspect, there is a physical aspect. And whether you want to admit this or not, NASA has been giving you the spiritual aspect of space. Because think about it. How many of you have ever seen space? None of you, but you believe in it. How many of you have ever seen heaven? None of you, but you believe in it. So NASA has been giving you the spiritual aspect of space. For every spiritual aspect, there must be a equal aspect in the physical. Okay. I keep on telling everybody, man, they tell you all the time what's beyond those walls. They tell you all the time what's beyond those walls. And every time they tell you what's beyond those walls, they always tell you how they are getting pushed back here. There is no going to Mars. They can't go to Mars because we are there. Think of it like a ripple effect. You ever put a drop of water in an ocean or a puddle? It ripples out. Most ripples go to 4 or 5 rings. But if you put a large constant of energy, it'll flow out into one big ring, and then all of a sudden you'll see little ripples, and it'll come out to be about 9. Same concept. Same concept. We are the original source. I think Sutin Seti, he said it best when he said that these crackers are always working backwards. These crackers are always working against the grain. When these crackers first invaded Africa, what did they do? They went against the Nile Valley. And thank Hawa that they were stupid enough to go against the Nile Valley, because that's what took them so long. What I mean by going against the Nile Valley, I mean, you know how the Nile Valley and the Mississippi River runs from south to north. You feel me? But when they first attacked us, they went from north to south. Think about it. That's always been their story. They go again. They attack the first thing they see, and then they follow it to source. You understand? When they got to Saturn, because this entire thing is Saturn, and the other continents outside of the ice wall, those are the other rings of Saturn. This is Saturn. That's why when you see that concept, remember how they told you that Earth, remember I know a lot of y'all aren't really that old. I'm not that old either. But I remember there used to be a concept, because I'm a historian and I love history. And back in the Middle Ages, they said that Earth is the true center of the universe. Y'all, I know a lot of y'all don't remember that. They done changed the story so many times. But they said that Earth, this continent right here, this planet right here, is the true center of the universe. And that everything rotates around it. But we stay stationary. Take Earth out of it and replace it with Saturn. Take the rotational lines that you see in a diagram and make them the rings of Saturn. They already told you that Saturn can hold almost, 300 planet Earths. They're telling you how many other versions of us are out there. They truly don't know how many other versions are out there. This is Saturn. And the way that you escape through the ice walls. Why is there ice? Remember, they call it the Allen Belt. The Allen Belt. The Allen Belt. They call the ice wall the Allen Belt. They might as well call it the Bird Belt, but they call it the Allen Belt. And they said that they can no longer escape the Allen Belt. What they won't tell you is the reason why they can't escape the Allen Belt is because as soon as they get halfway through, our people are going to be attacking them nonstop. So they are trapped here with us, and our people on the other side of that wall are getting restless because we are starting to wake up, and they don't want to wait anymore. They don't want to wait anymore. There's no reason to wait anymore. They don't want to wait. When they tell you that they're going to Mars, they can't go to Mars because we're there. When they tell you they're going to go to the moon, they can't go to the moon because the moon is underwater. Same thing with the sun. The sun is a luminary called an ever essence. There used to be three essences. There used to be an essence of three suns. One in the South Pole, one in the North Pole, and one in the center of the continents. You understand? There's, like I keep telling people, if you are up here, then I really won't have to explain. But for everybody who's just watching for entertainment, the entire continent is connected. The entire continent is connected. The Atlantic and the Pacific are those what you call rivers. What we have flowing through the continent is a stream. The Mississippi is a stream. The Nile is a stream. The yellow in Asia is a stream. So you have to put yourself on a bigger concept of thinking. You have to put yourself on a concept of there is no way possible that you can say that you respect Hawa and all his glory, all their glory to create, and you constantly use the term that the enemy has forced on you. Everything is backwards. Everything is backwards. So the oceans that flow all the way from north to south, those are streams. The rivers that flow from south to north, the oceans that flow from south to north, those are rivers. The rivers that flow from south to north through the continent, those are streams. You understand? Everything's shutting down. Everything's shutting down, man. You have to remove the entire concept because days are really years and years are really days. Night is really day and day is really night. East is really west. North is really south. And the way that you can tell that north is really south is because north is not the source. If north was truly the source, then everything would flow from the north. But it doesn't. It flows towards the south. It flows from the south to the north. And I know what a lot of people are thinking, my compass, hold on. everybody's going to sit here and tell you that they have a compass. You feel me? And the compass always points north. Are you sure about that? Because as far as you're concerned, do you really know what north is? Or is that just what they told you? All you know is that it's pointing to something. That's all you really know, is that it's pointing to something. It's pointing to something. It be tripping sometimes. So, could it be pointing towards the last ever essence? The one that's above in the sky right now, the one that's making it so bright. Because remember, we're not truly supposed to have a concept of darkness. Because when the three ever essences returns, you're going to start seeing the aurora borealis flow all through the sky. The sky is going to change various colors at night. That's why it won't even be dark anymore. Even without all these electronics, it won't be dark anymore. You're going to have various colors of blue, green, purple. And you know, purple doesn't really show on black the way we want it to. But think about a radiant purple. Think about a radiant purple just flowing through the sky. It'll never be dark. It'll never be dark again. So, like Rashad explained to you, when the movie The Tower, The Dark Tower, all those movies, Lord of the Rings, all that. A lot of people have been saying that the hole in the sun looks like the eye from Lord of the Rings. What they really need to have the concept of is that the eye from Lord of the Rings looks like the sun. So, once you understand the concept that these towers were holding true ever essence, luminaries. That's how all these mythical creatures could go up to something that was as strong as the sun and not be burnt, because it's a luminary, it's an ever essence, it's a warmth that you feel. Now that their machines have broken down and that they did that emergency shift to another dimension, they have reawakened the other two luminescences, because they could never destroy the two luminescences. I'm putting two words together. It doesn't matter. The two luminaries. Actually, I like the word luminescence. The two luminescences were never destroyed. Their placeholders were destroyed. You understand that they destroyed the towers. They destroyed the tower. They destroyed the Dark Tower and the North Pole, and they destroyed the Lord of the Rings Tower and the South Pole. They could never get to Mu. They could never get to the Tower of Mu. And you've heard plenty of stories about. If you don't know the story about the Tower of Mu, Mu is an volcano. It's a volcano that is in the center of the connected continent. You understand? And this volcano which is actually a tower, is the last portal that is here. Well, that's the portal that we came out of. That's the portal that created life. Because the mother in the north and the father in the south came together and created the luminary in the center. The mother, the father, the holy child. That's how that saying really supposed to go. It's not the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. No, it is the mother, the father, and the holy child. Why is the child holy? Because because the strength from the father and the wisdom from the mother enlighten the child to be whole. There. That's why it's so important in our culture that you do not have a child out of wedlock, because that is an incomplete child. You don't have the father in their life. You understand? And the only reason why we had to create that concept of the whole wedlock thing is because we had already lost so much of our culture that we had to come up with some type of a system. You know, understand? And that was one of them. Because you have to understand that they made it illegal for us to have multiple wives. They made it illegal for us to have multiple husbands. They made that illegal because then it's easier for them to track your seed. You understand? For real, everybody's sleeping with their cousins. Let's just put that out there. Like, the whole concept of incest, I know that it's immoral and everything, but bottom line, everybody has been sleeping with their cousins. Fun fact that you can look up right now, people have married their cousins more times than anybody realizes. A lot of marriages used to end because after they would get married, they would go see somebody's grandmama, and that grandmama would start running down the family tree, and then somebody would say, hey, my auntie's name is such and such. And then they start going through the whole line, and they realize, hey, we're cousins. And then they end up getting a divorce. Everybody's attracted to their cousins. You can say that I'm being immoral, you can say that I'm being nasty, but I'm not ignorant to what's right there in front of me. Our entire culture was based on blood transfusions, a physical blood transfusion. What do I mean by it was based on a physical blood transfusion? I mean like an entire village would come from South America, and an entire village would come from North America, and they will swap places. Voluntarily, they would swap places. Why? Because the continent needed new blood flow. Same thing with Africa. Anytime Africa would face a new disease that they didn't know anything about, we would swap blood. Anytime that we faced a disease, we would swap blood. We would literally take the disease and move them to another continent, not to exile them to die, but to put them in a new environment where the antibodies of the planet, which is what you call spores or pollen, those are antibodies. You have to breathe in new antibodies. That's why when you get sick now, because of all the chemtrails in the air, those are viruses in the air. And for us to truly feel better, we have to uproot ourselves and go to a clean atmosphere to put our body in shock. That's very important, that our body goes through a shock of cleanliness. And a lot of people don't understand, well, if you put your body in shock, there's a great chance that you won't survive it. No. If white people's body go through shock, they are guaranteed not to survive it. It has been proven throughout history. When they first invaded Africa, the tsetse fly, the mosquito, would kill them. Africa has been dealing with the tsetse fly for the last 20,000 years, and no one's died. People didn't start dying from the tsetse fly until white scientists started going over there to study the tsetse fly. Think about that. Like, really think about that. So, how is it? My bad. Hold on. I had to finish my tea. So how is it that we get sick? I rarely get sick, and my diet is all over the place. Like, literally, I was over 330 pounds and still healthier than a lot of you people who are only 160 pounds and do push-ups. Why? Because we don't get sick. We don't get sick at all. I haven't been sick for the last 2 years, in all honesty. We have a natural built-in sun. That's what people keep on telling you. We have a natural built-in sun. And what does the sun do? The sun pushes out heat. What does heat does to a virus? It evaporates it. So my sun inside me is working properly. I don't know what's wrong with yours, but mine's is working properly. And I haven't been sick for the last 2 years. I rarely get sick. I only get sick one time out of the year. And that one time out of the year, that's my body doing a mandatory reset. It's doing a mandatory reset to put my body in shock because they're putting new viruses in the air and my body needs to study it. And the best way to study a disease is to catch it. You understand? Think about how all the diseases we cure because someone caught it. So your body sometimes needs to go through that mandatory shock so your body can internally study it and then defeat it. And then you won't. For real, you're only supposed to get sick one time out of the year, and that's just to do a mandatory system check. So I don't know what's wrong with y'all body. I can walk outside right now. They say that it's 50 degrees outside right now. I can walk out there right now with shorts and a shirt on, and I'll be perfectly fine. So that's why I say a lot of the concept that people have been giving you about spirituality is a very true thing, because your soul is supposed to keep you warm, and in turn you're supposed to keep your soul protected. You understand? So getting back to the concept of we are Saturn. This is Saturn. I think Bobby Hemmett said it best when he said that the church of Satan is a church to worship you. You are Satan. Satan is Saturn. If you know anything about I really want to stop using this word, but if you know anything about occult knowledge, and again, occult only means hidden. They've got you so fearful of simple words that y'all can't even talk about it. As soon as you hear it, it's like it's a mental block for you. But occult means hidden. Saturn is another name for Satan. The church of Satan is actually the church of Saturn. You are Lucifer. Every angel is in control of an aspect of metal. I think Uriel is in control of zinc. I think Michael is in control of steel. I think Azrael is in control of mercury. Um, Lucifer, Lucifer is in control of copper. Remember what I told you a long time ago when I first got started about how there was a rebellion in heaven, like the third generation of angels after because Lucifer, Uriel, the original 13 angels, those are the first generation of angels. Then the second generation of angels was created to assist the first generation. But Hawa, God, when they created the third generation of angels, they gave the third generation of angels uh nothing to, I wouldn't say really nothing to do, but their responsibilities were lax. You know what I'm saying? Because everything was already being completed. So they were the final step. So as above, so below. As below, so above. Angels were in heaven getting drunk. You don't have to believe me, but it's funny how God already had a law against being drunk long before man was created. Like I keep on telling you, the Bible in itself has 777 laws. Angels were in heaven getting drunk. Angels were in heaven being blasphemous. Angels were in heaven just being all around disrespectful. This is the start of Lucifer's legacy. Because one thing you're not going to do around Lucifer is you're not going to disrespect God. I keep on telling y'all that Lucifer was the first one in heaven. Lucifer is right there by God's side. Lucifer was the bright and morning star. I could, boy, and it's a whole. That's why everybody keeps on telling people who are Christians, you know, when you worship Jesus, you're worshiping Lucifer. And Christians really do lack to understand why we say that. Because they think that they know that everything was absolute. You understand? Like they don't understand the concept. Like they understand the concept of repenting so long as they can repent. But somebody like Lucifer, someone like Satan, someone like Azazel, they say that those people can never be forgiven. They can never repent. How when you do the exact same thing that they did? Matter of fact, you do worse. Because the whole reason why Adam and Eve got kicked out of the Garden of Eden wasn't because Eve ate the apple. It's because Adam lied to God's face. That's the whole reason. And a lot of people don't like that. But that's the truth. Because think about it. Who was the only person that lied in the Garden of Eden? Adam. Think about it. When Eve asked Lucifer, what will happen when I eat the apple? Well, you'll gain the knowledge of God. He didn't lie. When Adam asked Eve, why do your eyes look like that? Eve said, I ate from the tree of life and I gained the knowledge of God. She didn't lie. When God asked Adam, why did you hide from me? What happened? Adam, what's the first thing Adam said? I don't know. He lied. When God said, why are you wearing leaves to hide your nakedness? What did Adam say? I don't know. He lied again. So God gave him one last chance. He said, Adam, my child, did you eat from the garden? Did you eat from the tree of life that I told you is forbidden? What did Adam say at first? He told God no. What did Jesus say at the Last Supper? You will deny me 3 times. What did Adam do in the beginning of all this? He lied to God 3 times. He was the only person in the Garden of Eden that lied. Everybody else told the truth. You can say whatever you want about Lucifer, but one thing about Lucifer, Lucifer told the truth. You can say whatever you want about Eve. Eve told the truth. There was only one child in that garden that lied, and his name was Adam. It was a man's fault that you got kicked out of the Garden of Eden. Why? Because you lied 3 times. Everybody else told the truth. You were the only one who lied. When God went to Eve and asked, why did you eat the apple? Eve said, because Lucifer told me that I would see like you see. So when God went to Lucifer and said, why did you tell them about the tree? Lucifer said, because I didn't want to sit here and babysit. Everyone else told the truth except for Adam, and therefore Adam got everybody kicked out of the Garden of Eden. But everybody wants to blame a woman because y'all are dumb as hell, and y'all don't want to accept responsibility for nothing. And that's why you can't understand the concept that God will give Lucifer a chance to repent. That whole reason why Lucifer had to babysit Adam and Eve is because Lucifer was repenting for the rebellion. It's just that simple. You can't sit here and understand. You can't sit here and call yourself a Christian and deny the concept of God. God is a forgiving God so long as you tell the truth. That's why y'all love Jesus so much, because Jesus will let you lie. Before God forgives you for sinning against the law that you already knew, God's going to beat your ass every single time. All throughout the Old Testament, every time somebody repented, God beat their ass. God beat their ass to the altar, and God beat their ass off the altar, and then God forgave them. That's why y'all love Jesus so much, because Jesus won't beat your ass like your daddy does. Why does your daddy beat your ass? Because you know better. But y'all love Jesus because that's your stepdaddy, and your stepdaddy can't hit you because your daddy's in your life. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. That's why I will never pray to Jesus, because Jesus is a son just like I am. Jesus can't do anything to me. I can sit here and blaspheme against Jesus all day long. Why? Because Jesus isn't God. Therefore, Jesus can't beat my ass. God, on the other hand, can beat my ass to the altar and beat my ass off the altar until I learn my lesson. That's why you love the concept of Jesus so much. Nobody else in the garden lied but Adam. It was a man that got you kicked out. That's why when God kicked everyone out of the Garden of Eden, all the power went to the woman and not the man. Why? Because a woman didn't sit there and lie. Like I said, when God asked Eve, why did you eat from the apple? Why did you eat of the tree of life? She told the truth. She told the truth without fear. Why? Because why would you fear your mother and father? Yeah, you're going to feel nervous because you done did something that you ain't supposed to. But in the end, you're going to tell the truth, ain't you? She didn't lie not one time to anybody. She straight up told the truth. Such and such told me this. I'm telling you this because it was true. Look, I can see the world in a light that I've never seen it before. So now, why is Lucifer the ruler of copper? And what have people been saying? And why do these crackers worship you as being Lucifer? Lucifer, after the first rebellion from the 3rd generation of angels, Lucifer was going on a killing spree. Because one thing you're not going to do around Lucifer is you're not going to disrespect God in any way, shape, or form. The whole reason why Lucifer rebelled against God is because she felt like God was disrespecting themselves. Because God was going to put their essence in a human's body and live life to find themselves. Okay. So when the first rebellion happened, the 3rd generation of angels rebelled against God. Everybody else was putting angels in cages. Lucifer, on the other hand, wiped out 1/3 of the 3rd generation. Lucifer had no concept of mercy. Lucifer had no concept of understanding of forgiveness. Lucifer had no concept of repentance. All Lucifer knew was, you're not going to disrespect the people I love, and therefore you are going to die. So, to calm Lucifer down, God told Lucifer, make chains for them so that they will obey the law. And the chains that Lucifer made were made out of copper. That's why when you see all these angels and all those old pictures, you always see those angels with chains on them. They have chains on their feet. They have chains on their wrists. They have chains around their necks. Why? Because they were the generation of the disobedient. They rebelled in totality against God. Why? Because they were drunk. So every generation after the second generation has to put on copper chains. What do these homunculus chimeras call you? They call you copper children. You're not really black. You are various shades of brown. You see how when the sun hits my skin, you see all this brown in my skin? You see all this brown in my skin? We're not dark like the Africans are. You feel me? You see all this brown? You see all this brown? We are copper color. And because we are copper color, they say that we are the children of Lucifer. So therefore, when they created the church of Satan, when they created the church of Lucifer, when they created the church of Jesus, they in turn are worshiping you. I know that sounded crazy, especially if you're a Christian and you've been taught your whole life to go against Lucifer. But you have to really think about this, man. You have to really think about how these homunculus chimeras, they love their heroes are the enemies, and their enemies are really the heroes. You feel me? To this day, no one can answer the question, what sin did Lucifer teach man? Since everybody wants to put blame on Lucifer, what sin did Lucifer teach man? You can't think of it. You can't fathom it. You can't find it in the Bible. Because Lucifer is only mentioned in Genesis, if you really think about it. And then what name pops up? Satan, Azazel, Uriel, Michael, Raphael. Think about it. I keep on telling you that Lucifer didn't want to deal with your ass. Lucifer, she didn't want to babysit. And to babysit somebody you love that has Alzheimer's, it breaks your heart. Because they don't remember anything. They really don't remember who you are. They don't remember who they are. We have Alzheimer's. We have Alzheimer's, but now we're coming out of that condition. It's strange. It's like we go to sleep for about 1,000 years. We go to sleep, and then when we wake up, we remember everything. But I guess it's only for a few days that we remember everything, and then we go right back to sleep. So, with that being said, I think that's what happened. I think that they put us in a position to where our instincts kicked in and it canceled out the Alzheimer's that God put on us. It's just that sometimes, remember when I told you you have to stop giving them so much credit? Remember when I told you that you have to stop giving them credit for things that's already been here? It's always been here. Our memory loss has always been here. They didn't do anything. They didn't hypnotize us to anything. The the concept of the Great Flood, the concept of ancient civilizations, all that has already been here. All that has already been here. That's why they are constantly going around the world discovering who you are. We don't need to know who we are because we just are. A wise person once said that you exist because you exist. That's just it. There's nothing else to it. You exist simply because you exist. We don't need to discover who we are because we just are. We just be. We just breathe. We don't need to know anything other than what we must do. We never really needed to go on journeys to discover who we are because our elders would inform us, you come from heaven. This is your mission. You understand? Make this world better. Keep the source of energy. Keep it going so when it ripples out, everyone can share in the same energy. See how the big shirt's not fitting like they used to. I love it. Anyway. So now that you understand why it was so important that they destroy this part of Saturn, because we are the center. We are the center of the universe. At first, when I first saw the concept of all these various little islands out there with their own personal ice wall, I thought to myself, like, yeah, that makes sense. But then as I got older and I found out how they said that Saturn is in the center, and even with those old maps, those concept maps that they show with the little islands surrounded by their own personal ice wall, if you pay attention, we are still in the center. So I was thinking to myself, what if it's just like what if it's just like One Piece? I keep on telling y'all need to just start watching animes and sci-fi shows. What if it's just like One Piece? And in One Piece, when they were leaving the East Blue, they keep on telling you they're leaving the East Blue. How did they leave the East Blue? They had to go through the Grand Line. What was the Grand Line? A gigantic wall. It was a gigantic wall that stretched all the way to the top. A good 5,000 miles. You couldn't even see the top. It seemed like it went on forever. That was that was the red line. The red line, and all red lines mean is a warning. Like, warning, once you go past this point, there's really no saving you, or you have to save yourself. So they reached the red line. And how did they reach the red line? They had to go through. They had to go through a certain part of the wall. And from there, they reached the Grand Line. But in between the red line and the Grand Line, they met other people. People who knew about them. People who knew exactly who they were, where they were coming from, and knew everything about the place they were staying in. They asked, well, how is such and such? Is old such and such still alive? Do y'all still have those Leviathan problems, those sea monster problems? Oh, we solved our Leviathan problems long ago. We tamed ours. They knew everything, but we knew nothing about them. So from there, they went to the Grand Line, and the Grand Line was white. This is why I say that you are inverted, because with the Grand Line, the waterfall flowed up instead of down. You are inverted. You inverse. Universe. You are inverted. The waterfall went up and over. And they said that it's because of the gravitational pull from the magnetism of it. In other words, you were leaving one magnetic field to go to another magnetic field. And the wall was naturally created. The wall was always there. Just because you smooth something out and paint on it doesn't mean that you created anything. It was always there. The Grand Line, the red line was always there. Who has time to build a 5,000 mile high wall when you, at that time, when you couldn't control the sea monster leviathans that inhabited the sea? Who has time to put stones accurately at the bottom? It was always there. What happens when two magnetic fields start coming together? They don't clash automatically. They push up from the bottom, and they continuously push and push and push and push. You see how it's going? It goes up, around, down, and then when they come back. So naturally, because of the two magnetic fields, the earth, I keep on telling people, what is the most powerful way a frequency can travel? It's not through the air, it's through the water, because the water amplifies it. The air spreads it loosely, because the air is a loose concept of water. We are underwater right now. You won't even realize it. Why? Because it's natural to us to breathe. The denser ocean, the deep space, creates a stronger frequency. That's why go study the story of Khnum and Noon. Khnum is the god of creation, and Noon is the god of the abyss. They are mother and father to Ptah. Ptah means land or mountain. And it's said that when Khnum and Noon came together as one, they birthed a child sprung out of Noon, which is the ocean, the abyss. And Noon populated. And Khnum gave Ptah the ability to populate. In other words, land came out of the sea, and the atmosphere populated it. You feel now? So have that concept in mind, that Ptah kept populating, kept rising out of the sea, because the two magnetic fields, they weren't clashing against each other. They were massaging each other. They were naturally rubbing up against each other. So when you put your hand in the sand and you enclose your hands in the sand, what happens? You naturally start forming walls on the edges without realizing it. The magnetic field rolls the mountains, the ice wall rolls them up out of the sea naturally. But there is a way to get to the other side naturally. No one did this. It was a natural thing. We weren't here when this happened. It was a natural thing. So now that you understand that this is the concept, now that you understand that this is Saturn, now that you understand that the rings of Saturn, the Allen belt, is nothing more than the wall that keeps us from going into outer space. You understand that there's a way out. There is life out there. We are not alone. So, there are various other versions of yourself. All these children getting kidnapped. All these children getting kidnapped. Are there some that are being sex trafficked? Yes. But I feel like a large majority of them are being taken to the wall and are being brainwashed, hypnotized, and then taken to the wall so the homunculus chimeras can buy themselves time. Because remember, Mars is the closest ring to us. Mars went towards an all-out war because when they took out the other two luminescents in the south and the north, Mars started losing power. And so when Mars came here to investigate and they saw what was happening, Mars lost their ever-loving mind and started to destroy everything. They started hitting. They didn't know where everybody was that they needed to hit, so they just started hitting everything. 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 And this is where you get the concept of Atlantis. In the beginning of the movie of Atlantis, there was a war going on. And in the very beginning, there were ships flying back. And one of them said, "You fool, you've doomed us all." And the other dude said, "I didn't know that it was going to be like that. I didn't know." That was the young soldier telling the general, "When I destroyed that facility that the enemy was inhabiting, I did not realize that the source of power from the luminescence would react that way." Because they thought, hold on.
So their system is not stopping. And then finally, I want to say that we need one idea. And we're not thinking about a solution to the problem. We're dealing with all these other things, but these are diversions from the solution to the problem. And we have to start to think about a solution to the problem so that these young brothers and sisters who are here now, who are 15, 16, and 17, are not here 25 years later talking about these same problems. Now, how do I know that the white people know that we are going to come up with a solution to the problem? I know it because they have retina scans, they have what they call racial profiling, DNA banks, and they're monitoring our people to try to prevent the one person from coming up with the one idea. And the one idea is how we are going to exterminate white people, because that, in my estimation, is the only conclusion I have come to. We have to exterminate white people off of the face of the planet to solve this problem. Now, I don't care whether you clap or not, but I'm saying to you that we need to solve this problem because they are going to kill us. And I will leave on that. So we have to just set up our own system and stop playing and get very serious and not be diverted.
So
only do you have to free the land and help to liberate the rest of the planet Earth for political power again, you have to do it so that all humanity can once again get back on its proper course. And we can live life as it's supposed to be lived. Become more godlike. The object of this knowledge is to be a reflection of yourself in the mirror of history. And when you look in that mirror, you will see God, because each one of us are in the image of the Creator, the Ancient of Days, with the lamb woolly hair and the color of amber. And as Jeremiah said, he looked like the pitch of oven. Each one of us are reflections. When we look in the mirror, we see God. God shining forth from us. And if you truly believe in the Creator, then you know that you cannot accept a life other than the highest and the best that you can get out of it.